Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Dispatch confirms the unthinkable. Boat and Oates' wedding date revealed, fans in shock. The entertainment world woke up to the kind of headline no one ever thought they would see. 4 years, speculation surrounded Thai stars Boat Nattapong and Oat Pasakkorn. Their chemistry on-screen, their closeness off-screen, and the way they often seemed to move as one, all of it fueled a fandom that dreamed of something more. But it was always just that, a dream. Or so everyone thought. Until Dispatch Thailand dropped the bombshell that left fans gasping for breath. Exclusive, Boat and Oat prepare to wed, love beyond friendship confirmed. Those words shattered the internet in seconds. Camera with flash, the proof that shook the world. The exclusive Dispatch article didn't stop at vague claims. It came armed with evidence, sharp, undeniable photographs and eyewitness accounts. One set of images showed Boat and Oat arriving late at night at a luxury riverside villa in Bangkok. Boat, dressed casually in black, held onto Oat's wrist as if guiding him inside. Oat carried a folder said to contain wedding plans. Another set captured Boat leaving a renowned tailor's studio, suit bag slung over his shoulder, a rare smile spreading across his face. The most damning photo, however, showed the two walking side by side with their managers, laughing, as staff unloaded boxes of what appeared to be wedding decor. For years, fans dissected every stolen glance between them. But this time, there was nothing to decode. The truth was out. Newspaper Dispatch's words. The report was unflinching. Boat Nattapong and Oat Pasakkorn have long been linked by fans, but now their bond takes the ultimate step. After months of preparation, the two are set to wed in a private ceremony. The date has been finalized, and the venue chosen. This is not speculation. This is reality. It wasn't just the photos. It was the tone, final, confident, undeniable. Microphone agencies step in. The internet's frenzy forced both of their agencies to break their silence within hours. Boat's agency issued a short, careful statement. Yes, Boat will be holding a private ceremony with Oat in the coming days. We ask for the public's understanding and respect during this important moment in their lives. Oat's agency echoed the sentiment. The love and support Boat and Oat have received over the years means the world to them. They will begin their new journey together quietly, but with hearts full of gratitude. With that, the rumors were no longer rumors. It was official. Globe with Asia Australia fans react, shock, tears, celebration. The world erupted. On Twitter, hashtags like #BoatOatWedding, #LoveWinsBoatOat, and #ForeverBoat and Oat dominated global trends. On TikTok, reaction videos poured in, fans crying, screaming, and even fainting on camera. In Bangkok, fans reportedly gathered outside the villa rumored to be the wedding venue, leaving flowers and letters at the gates. One viral fan tweet summed up the global mood. 4 years, people laughed at us, called us delusional shippers. Today, Dispatch said we were right all along. Boat and Oat are real and they're getting married. In Seoul, Manila, Beijing, and even New York, fan clubs organized spontaneous celebrations, holding candlelit vigils, blasting love songs, and projecting Boat and Oat's photos on giant outdoor screens. Books a love story years in the making. For many, the shock wasn't just about the wedding. It was about what it represented. Boat and Oat had built their careers side by side. They started as colleagues, grew into friends, and over time, became inseparable. Their interviews were full of laughter and inside jokes. Their social media posts often hinted at a bond deeper than friendship, though neither ever admitted it outright. Fans dubbed them the unspoken love story of Thai entertainment. Now, it wasn't unspoken anymore. It was about to be written in vows, sealed in rings, and celebrated by the world. Dove # the beginning of forever. As Dispatch's article spread like wildfire, one thought echoed everywhere. If Boat and Oat can make it, maybe true love really does exist. For fans, it wasn't just celebrity gossip. It was validation. It was hope. It was proof that love could triumph even under the blinding glare of fame. And so, with the wedding date now confirmed, all eyes turned toward Bangkok. The countdown had begun. Boat and Oat were no longer just a dream. They were about to become husbands. After the dispatch revelation shook the internet and the agencies confirmed the unthinkable, the focus shifted to one burning question: what kind of wedding would Boat and Oat have? Would it be a quiet ceremony, tucked away from curious eyes? Or would it be a grand spectacle, dripping in luxury and symbolism? The answer, as leaks and insider whispers began to spill, was somewhere in between, a private yet breathtakingly grand affair, crafted with the kind of detail that only true love inspires. House with Flower, the venue, a garden of forever. Multiple insiders confirmed that the couple had chosen an exclusive riverside villa in Bangkok as the setting for their vows. Hidden behind towering gates and lush gardens, the villa was the perfect blend of intimacy and grandeur. But what truly stunned those lucky enough to see it was the transformation underway. The aisle, a floral masterpiece. Thousands of white orchids and pink blush roses were arranged into an aisle that looked like a pathway through the heavens. Each step Boat and Oat would take symbolized the years of friendship, laughter, and challenges that brought them here. The stage, the altar, was designed to resemble a floating platform, surrounded by gentle streams of water lit with lanterns. Love flows endlessly, just like water, a planner reportedly explained. Lighting, at night, fairy lights strung across ancient banyan trees would sparkle like stars, casting a golden glow over the venue. An anonymous staff member described it best. When you walk into the villa now, it doesn't feel real. It feels like stepping into a dream, their dream. Necktie the fashion, secrets and speculation. If the venue captured hearts, the fashion sent imaginations into overdrive. Boat and Oat had always been admired for their style, Boat's sharp elegance paired with Oat's soft, warm charm. For their wedding, insiders promised nothing less than history-making looks. First look, the modern vows. Boat's suit, a pristine white tuxedo with subtle gold embroidery along the lapel, custom designed by one of Thailand's most exclusive ateliers. It reflected his confident, regal aura. Oat's suit, a cream-colored three-piece suit, inspired by eternal sunrise, symbolizing warmth and new beginnings. The delicate rose boutonniere pinned to his lapel would be placed there by Boat himself. Second look, tradition meets forever. Later in the evening, the couple would change into traditional Thai silk outfits. Made of ivory and gold, these outfits would not only honor their heritage but also represent purity, prosperity, and the eternal bond they now shared. A fashion critic, after seeing early sketches, declared, "This won't just be a wedding. It will be a fashion statement." Boat and Oat are about to define what love looks like in fabric. Family man woman boy families step forward. Beyond the glamour, what touched fans most was how deeply their families were involved. Boat's mother, she was spotted visiting the venue days before the ceremony, wiping her eyes as she watched workers prepare. Insiders say she told the planners, "I only want my son to be happy." Oat's father, long known for his quiet but steady support, he told a close friend who leaked the quote, "My son found his partner, his safe place." What more could a father want? Siblings. Both families' younger siblings were said to be heavily involved in rehearsals, practicing how to walk with flowers, tie sacred threads, and present blessings during the traditional ceremony. For years, the question had been whether their families would support them. Now the answer was clear, with open arms and open hearts. Closed lock with key secrecy and security. The closer the date approached, the tighter the secrecy became. NDAs everywhere, guests, planners, caterers, even the florist signed contracts preventing them from sharing details online. Phone-free zone, attendees would be asked to surrender their phones before entering the villa, to ensure absolute privacy. Security layers, private guards were stationed at every entrance, while drones patrolled the skies to prevent paparazzi from sneaking in. And yet, despite all these measures, a few tantalizing leaks escaped. One worker admitted, when Boat and Oat rehearsed walking hand in hand, they laughed like little kids. Everyone in the room could feel it, this is more than a wedding. It's two souls finally at peace. Globe showing Europe-Africa global fan anticipation. Meanwhile, the world was buzzing. The closer the date came, the more fans prepared in their own ways. Bangkok, fan clubs planned to gather outside the villa with banners and flowers, even though they couldn't see the ceremony. Manila, Filipino fans organized mock wedding receptions, complete with cakes, balloons, and boat photo slideshows. Beijing and Seoul, fans booked bars and cafes to stream updates together, treating it like a World Cup final. TikTok, edits of Boat and Oat set to love ballads flooded For You pages, some hitting millions of views in hours. One international fan club leader put it simply, "It's not just their wedding. It feels like ours too. We've waited, we've hoped, we've believed. Now, finally, it's happening." Love letter. The countdown begins. As the final preparations fell into place, the world grew quieter, more focused. The shock of Dispatch's reveal was fading into something else: anticipation, joy, pride. The villa was ready. The flowers were arranged. The suits pressed. The families gathered. The fans waiting. And somewhere inside, Boat and Oat held hands, knowing that soon, they would walk down an aisle not as stars, not as friends, but as partners bound for life. The countdown had begun. The next time the world saw them, it would be as husbands. The wedding day of Boat and Oat. When dawn broke over Bangkok, the city seemed to hold its breath. It wasn't just another day. For millions across the world, it was the day. The day Boat Natapong and Oat Pasakorn, two men who had captured hearts with their chemistry, their friendship, and their quiet love, would finally become husbands. Sunrise morning of forever. At the Riverside Villa, preparations began before sunrise. Staff rushed quietly through the sprawling gardens, adjusting flowers, checking sound systems, polishing crystal glasses until they gleamed. Inside, two suites glowed with activity. In Boat's room, he sat before a mirror as a stylist adjusted the collar of his white tuxedo. Though outwardly calm, his eyes betrayed a storm of emotions: joy, nerves, disbelief. One attendant whispered that Boat had stared at his ring box for nearly 20 minutes that morning, running his fingers over it with a small smile. In Oat's room, Oat was surrounded by his younger siblings, who teased him relentlessly as he slipped into his cream-colored suit. "You're glowing more than the lights outside," one joked. Oat only laughed shyly, but when asked if he was nervous, he admitted softly, "Only because I've waited for this moment for so long." By 10 a.m., the villa hummed with a sacred kind of energy. Something life-changing was about to happen. Multiple musical notes. The guests arrive. Black cars with tinted windows began pulling up at the gates. Out stepped fellow actors, directors, producers, and lifelong friends. Each guest was greeted with a garland of jasmine, symbolizing purity and eternal love. The dress code was strictly white and gold to match the theme of light and eternity. The garden shimmered as celebrities and family members filed in, their outfits sparkling under the sun. Insiders say even the most seasoned stars were wide-eyed when they saw the venue. The Isle of Orchids stretched like a river of clouds. Lanterns swayed gently from the trees, ready to glow when evening fell. At the altar, a carved golden frame bore the inscription, "Love always wins." Cherry blossom. The procession begins. At 4 p.m., the soft sound of Thai classical instruments filled the air. The chatter of guests stilled. Every phone had been surrendered at the door, so no one was distracted. All eyes were fixed on the aisle. First came the families, proud, tearful, smiling. Then the close friends, some holding bouquets, others carrying candles. Each step closer to the altar felt like a heartbeat in time. And then, silence. The moment everyone had waited for. Sparkles. The grooms appear. Boat's entrance. Boat appeared first, stepping onto the orchid-lined aisle in his white tuxedo. Gasps swept through the crowd. He looked radiant, a vision of strength and grace, his eyes shimmering as though they held the universe. His steps were steady, but those close to him noticed his hands trembling slightly, not from fear, but from the enormity of the moment. Oat's entrance. Moments later, Oat appeared on the opposite end. The cream suit glowed softly against his skin, his smile tender and shy. As soon as his eyes met Boat's across the aisle, the crowd felt the shift. The world seemed to stop. They walked slowly toward one another until they met in the middle. Boat reached out, taking Oat's hand. Neither looked away. The applause erupted, but the two men seemed deaf to it. To them, there was no one else in the garden. Love letter. The vows. The officiant invited them to speak from the heart. Neither had prepared long speeches, but their words silenced the crowd with raw honesty. Boat's vow. His voice shook at first, then steadied. From the first time I stood beside you, I knew you were my safe place. You've been my best friend, my partner, my home. Today, I promise that for as long as I live, you will never walk alone. Oat's vow. Tears streamed down his face as he spoke. You once told me love doesn't need to be said out loud to be real. But today, I want the whole world to hear it. I love you, Boat. And I will spend the rest of my life proving it. The guests, celebrities, family, staff were all wiping tears. Even the officiant paused to compose himself. Ring the rings. A young sibling from each family stepped forward carrying the velvet ring boxes. Boat and Oat took them with trembling hands. Boat slid a gold band onto Oat's finger, whispering, "Mine, forever." Oat, smiling through tears, returned the gesture, "And I'm yours." As the rings clicked into place, sunlight broke through the clouds above, casting a golden glow over the altar. Guests later swore it was a sign from the heavens. Kissmark, the kiss that shook the world. The officiant raised his voice. "By the power vested in me, I pronounce you partners for life. You may seal your vows with a kiss." Boat cupped Oat's face gently, pulling him close. The kiss was tender, lingering, unashamed, not the kiss of actors or idols, but of two souls who had waited years for this moment. The garden erupted in cheers, applause, and tears. Some guests stood, clapping furiously. Others sobbed into their tissues. Families embraced. Friends screamed with joy. At that instant, Boat and Oat were no longer just beloved stars. They were husbands. Firework sparkler reactions. Family. Boat's mother sobbed openly, clutching her chest with pride. Oat's father was seen smiling so widely, his cheeks glistened with tears. Celebrities. Fellow actors whispered that this was the most beautiful wedding Thailand has ever seen. Fans outside, though barred from entering, hundreds gathered near the villa gates. When they heard the music swell after the kiss, they cheered, throwing flowers in the air as though they had been there themselves. Crescent moon, the start of forever. As dusk fell and fairy lights illuminated the villa, Boat and Oat walked back down the aisle hand in hand, now officially married. Guests showered them with petals. Some shouted blessings, others simply watched in awe. It was more than a wedding. It was a statement. It was history. It was proof that love, against all odds, had triumphed. The reception, the after-party, and the world's reaction. The sun had set over Bangkok, but at the riverside villa where Boat and Oat had just exchanged vows, the night was only beginning. The ceremony had been sacred, emotional, and unforgettable. Now, it was time to celebrate not just for the couple, but for everyone who had believed in their love story. Wineglass, the reception, a garden of stars. When guests entered the transformed reception area, they gasped. The garden, once serene and floral, had now become a glowing paradise. Fairy lights twinkled above like constellations, golden lanterns floated on the villa's streams, and the tables sparkled with crystal glassware and silk linens. At the center stood a 6-tier wedding cake, adorned with delicate sugar orchids and a golden figurine of two men holding hands. At the top was a plaque inscribed in Thai, "Eternal Love, Boat and Oat." Guests were ushered to their seats, but few could sit still. The excitement was palpable. The wedding of the century was about to flow into the party of the century. Multiple musical notes, the first dance. As the soft strum of live violins began, Boat extended his hand toward Oat. The crowd hushed. "May I have this dance?" he asked with a grin. Oat, blushing, nodded. They stepped onto the floral dance floor, holding each other close as the music swelled. Their movements weren't choreographed, it wasn't about perfection, it was about love. Boat led with gentle confidence, while Oat leaned in, smiling through tears. The guests clapped in rhythm, some even crying again as they watched. By the time the music ended, Boat spun Oat one last time before pulling him into a soft kiss that made the crowd erupt in cheers. One guest whispered, "It's like watching two souls write poetry with their bodies." Place setting, the feast of love. Dinner was served, and it was nothing short of spectacular. Appetizers, mini lotus leaf wraps filled with herbs and peanuts, delicate dumplings shaped like flowers. Main courses, traditional Thai curries, seafood platters, and even fusion dishes to honor their international guests. Desserts: mango sticky rice served in heart-shaped bowls, alongside macarons stamped with B Blackheart O. Throughout the meal, guests took turns raising toasts. A director friend, they gave us chemistry on screen, but today, they've given us love off screen. May their story never end. Boat's sister, tearfully, I've never seen my brother this happy. Oat, thank you for loving him the way he deserves. Oat's cousin, with a laugh, I always knew. The way he looked at Boat, it was never just friendship. The couple listened, holding hands under the table, their smiles never fading. Microphone the performances. No Thai wedding of this scale would be complete without entertainment, and Boat and Oat's friends made sure of it. Celebrity duets. Several singers performed love ballads that left guests swaying with emotion. Surprise video montage. Fans worldwide had secretly collaborated to create a video filled with messages, songs, and clips of support. When it played on the giant screen, Boat and Oat covered their faces, overwhelmed with emotion. One moment stood out, a fan from Brazil saying through tears, "You don't know me, but your love gave me courage to accept myself. Thank you, Boat and Oat." The entire room erupted in applause, and Oat openly wept, whispering to Boat, "We're not just living for us anymore. We're living for them too." Champagne glasses. The after party. When the formalities ended, the villa transformed once again, this time into a dance floor. DJ Booth, one of their close friends, manned the decks, blasting both Thai pop and international hits. Boat's moment, he shocked everyone by rapping along to a track, sending the crowd into wild cheers. Oat's moment, later, Oat grabbed the mic and serenaded Boat with a ballad. Boat pulled him close mid-song, kissing him as the crowd screamed. Laughter, dancing, and joy filled the night. By 2 a.m., guests were still on the floor, unwilling to let the celebration end. Milky Way private moments. Amid the chaos of music and laughter, Boat and Oat slipped away briefly to the villa's balcony. The moonlight bathed them in silver as they leaned against the railing, holding hands in silence. Finally, Boat whispered, "We really did it." Oat nodded, resting his head on Boat's shoulder. "Forever starts tonight." They kissed again, quietly, away from the crowd. Just two men, no cameras, no applause, only love. Globe showing Europe-Africa global aftermath. While the villa was sealed off, the outside world was anything but quiet. Twitter, the hashtag #BoatOatWedding reached over 15 million tweets in 24 hours, making it the #1 global trend. TikTok, clips of fan reactions, edits of their kiss, and live updates outside the venue garnered millions of views within hours. News outlets, major publications from Bangkok to New York ran front-page headlines. Love wins in Bangkok, Boat and Oat tie the knot. History made, Boat and Oat's wedding becomes global event. More than celebrities, they are symbols of courage. In fan cafes across Asia, people celebrated with cake and champagne. Some fans even wore matching white outfits in solidarity. Rainbow, a love that changed everything. By morning, one truth was undeniable: Boat and Oat's wedding wasn't just a personal milestone. It was a cultural shift. They had risked everything: careers, privacy, reputation, but what they gained was far greater: freedom, truth, and forever. As one viral fan post read, "This isn't the end of their story. It's just the beginning. Husband and husband, heart to heart, soul to soul. Boat and Oat forever." And somewhere in that riverside villa, as dawn crept over the horizon once again, Boat and Oat fell asleep side by side, newlyweds, partners, soulmates. Their wedding wasn't just remembered. It was immortalized.